Imagine you are sitting quietly in your room late at night. The doors are locked, the windows are shut, and you are physically completely safe. There's no physical threat looming over you. Yet, your chest feels tight. Your heart is racing as if you're running a marathon. Your breathing is shallow, your palms are sweating, and a cold wave of dread is sitting heavily in the pit of your stomach. You look around the room. There is nothing there. No enemy to fight, no fire to run from. So why is your body acting as if you are about to die? Welcome to the grand illusion of anxiety. Anxiety is one of the most agonizing human experiences because it feels incredibly real. When your mind enters an anxious loop, the terror you feel isn't a metaphor. It is a physical, exhausting reality. But modern psychology tells us something that might shock you. Your subconscious mind doesn't actually know the difference between a real physical threat and the thought you are having in your head. To your brain, a terrifying memory from your past, a worst-case scenario about your future, and a hungry predator standing right in front of you look exactly the same. Let's pull back the curtain on this illusion, explain exactly how your subconscious tricks you, and give you the master key to shut it down. To understand why your brain invents problems, you have to stop viewing anxiety as a defect or a sign that you are broken. In reality, anxiety is a beautifully designed, highly sophisticated survival mechanism that has simply gone rogue. Inside the emotional center of your brain sits a tiny almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your mind's internal smoke detector and overprotective bodyguard. Its only job is to keep you alive. It doesn't care if you are happy, it doesn't care if you are calm, and it doesn't care if you get a good night's sleep. It only cares that you survive until tomorrow morning. Thousands of years ago, if our ancestors heard a rustling sound in the bushes, the amygdala had to make a split-second decision. It could assume the sound was just the wind, or it could assume it was a hidden predator. If it assumed it was the wind, but it turned out to be a predator, the human died. If it assumed it was a predator, but it turned out to be the wind, the human survived. Because of this, evolution hardwired your subconscious mind to always assume the worst. Your brain is biologically biased to mistake a harmless shadow for a monster. It is literally designed to overreact because on the ancient savanna, overreacting kept you alive. In the modern world, we don't face saber-toothed tigers anymore. Instead, we face unpaid bills, awkward social interactions, work deadlines, and relationship uncertainties. But remember, your ancient amygdala doesn't know what a corporate deadline or a text message is. When you sit on your bed and worry about an upcoming meeting or think about whether someone is mad at you, your amygdala reads those stressful thoughts as an immediate physical threat. It pulls the fire alarm. It floods your bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol. It pulls blood away from your digestive system and pumps it into your muscles. It speeds up your heart rate to prepare you to fight or flee. The problem is, there's nothing to fight and nowhere to run. You are just sitting on a bed, trapped inside a physical storm caused entirely by a psychological ghost. Once the amygdala fires the alarm, a dangerous psychological cycle begins. We call this the catastrophe loop. Because your body is suddenly filled with intense physical symptoms, like a racing heart or a tight throat, your conscious mind wakes up and looks for an explanation. Your logical brain thinks, wow, my heart is beating incredibly fast. I must be in serious danger. Something terrible is about to happen. Now your thoughts become even darker. You begin to imagine catastrophic scenarios. You think about failing your goals, being humiliated, losing your job, or being abandoned. These terrifying mental movies are sent right back down to the amygdala. The amygdala sees these new thoughts and says, oh no, the danger is getting even worse. So it pumps out even more adrenaline. Your body gets tighter, your mind gets cloudier, and the loop spins faster and faster until you feel completely paralyzed by panic. Anxiety is an illusion because it feeds on itself. It takes a tiny spark of uncertainty about the future, builds a massive mental nightmare around it, and then uses your own bodily reactions to prove that the nightmare is real. You are no longer reacting to the real world. You are reacting to a horror movie produced, directed, and written entirely by your own subconscious mind. So how do we break the loop? How do you convince an overprotective bodyguard that the smoke detector is just reacting to burnt toast, not a raging house fire? You cannot fight anxiety with logic alone. When your body is full of adrenaline, telling yourself to just calm down is like shouting at a hurricane to stop blowing. It doesn't work because the emotional brain has completely hijacked the logical brain. Instead, you must use a psychological law called cognitive appraisalism, the act of stripping away the emotional weight of a thought and treating it as raw, neutral data. The next time you feel a wave of anxiety creeping in, do not try to suppress the thoughts or tell yourself they are stupid. That just creates friction, which the amygdala interprets as more danger. Instead, try this. Step back. Become an outside observer of your own mind and label the experience objectively. Say to yourself, out loud or in your mind, my amygdala is currently misinterpreting a thought about the future and it's pumping adrenaline into my chest. My heart is beating fast, but this is just a chemical reaction. I am physically safe. Notice what you're doing here. You're not saying, I am dying or I am losing my mind. You are identifying the physical sensations as nothing more than biology. You are removing the horror movie script and replacing it with a medical textbook. When you label your anxiety objectively, you take away its power to terrorize you. You break the connection between the physical symptom and a scary thought. You stop the catastrophe loop in its tracks. Once you have labeled the thought, you must send the physical signal back to your brain to turn off the smoke detector. Because the mind controls the body, but the body can also override the mind. The fastest way to signal safety to your subconscious is through your breath. When you are anxious, your breathing naturally becomes shallow and fast. This tells your brain, we are running for our lives. To reverse the alarm, you must practice the physiological sigh, a breathing pattern discovered by neuroscientists that dumps carbon dioxide out of your lungs and instantly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, dropping your heart rate in seconds. Here's exactly how you do it. Take a deep breath in through your nose, then at the very top of that breath, force one more quick, sharp inhale to completely expand the tiny air sacs in your lungs. Then, let out a long, slow, sighing exhale through your mouth. Do this exactly 3 times. When you take that second sharp inhale and follow it with a long exhale, your nervous system triggers a reflex that slows down your heart rate. It acts as a biological emergency brake. It sends a message straight to the amygdala that says, the danger has passed. You can turn off the alarm now. As we close our conversation tonight, I want you to remember something vital. Anxiety is not your enemy. It is a misguided expression of love from your biology. It's your brain trying its absolute best to protect you, even if it's doing a terrible job at it. The next time the physical shadow of anxiety falls over your room at night, don't run from it and don't hate yourself for feeling it. Take a deep breath. Practice your physiological sigh. Label the adrenaline calmly. Remind your inner bodyguard that you are no longer stranded on the savannah. You are safe, you are in control, and your mind is ready to be unlocked. Drop a comment below if you felt your chest to loosen up while listening to this. Let's support each other in the comments tonight. Sleep well.